kids say that they didn't love their kids and they didn't want to be in their children's life. On the movies, you see that stuff because it's good writing. It's a dramatic moment. It brings tears to your eyes or it makes you feel disgusted, whatever situation. In real life, in my 32 years of living, I have never met a man who has children say, I don't love my kids and I'd rather be apart from them. This is a narrative that people have been pushing and it's a lie.
It is.
It's a lie. I know men who are with women right now, insufferable women. They are in a relationship for their kids.
For their kids. Sometimes they, like you said, they suffer. They live through that argument, that aggravation, just for the kids. And me, doing the work that I did, and the reason why I worked so hard for a lot of companies was because I didn't want my kids to have a hard knock life like what I had.
Right.
So hopefully the 15 years that I invested in them, because they're with their mom, they're in the house, their mom, she has a good job. So hopefully the 15 years I invested in them, they learned a lot and they knew who their father was.
What you said? She's with the mom. So the mom is what now, married or was she?
I don't know the situation.
Okay, you don't know.
They've blocked me away from pretty much everything. So my daughter, she's 16.
Okay.
My oldest son is 15, and the youngest one is 10.
Oldest one is 10. Wow.
So hopefully I invested enough.
In that time.
Like me and my wife, it was two types of love. I loved her as a person, and I loved her as my wife.
Right.
And the same with my kids. It's two different types of love.
Right.
I can't love my kids the way I love my wife
as
my wife.
That's right.
So I love them.
Same with your mom
people,
and
and I love them as my kids.
That's right.
So hopefully that love that I invested in them, the love that my ex-wife, she still might care about me somewhere deep inside because you can't get rid of them.
You just can't.
So to move on, you're creating new memories with that new person.
Right.
But
we have a whole timeline here.
Almost 15, 20 years of memories you can't just wipe away.
You can't.
So
so you was married for about?
We were married for 12 years.
For 12 months,
in a relationship for about, this started back in 2000.
That's basically the majority of your life, you know?
You invest a lot of time.
So tell me the story. How did it happen? Tell me the story, about how this came about. Like how you got to this part in the relationship with her. Like tell me that story with you and your wife and how it all unfolded.
Well, you can't never really tell when you stop, and I don't think people stop loving. I think they just get into a dark place. Everybody's been there. Mm-hmm. So when you stop being happy, because she's human, I'm human.
Right.
I'm pretty sure she don't want to see me dead. So it's
right.
You get into a point with somebody and it's just that we're not happy anymore.
Right.
You don't really know when that happened.
Right.
Because if we knew when it happened, if you love that person dearly in the way you do love them, you would have tried to stop that event from turning into a dissolution of the marriage.
Right.
So my thing was that was my first marriage, and I haven't had a lot of women in my life that I can say, hey, I had 20 girlfriends. I can count on one hand where I can say I love that person.
Right. Because
you
truly
love them, and then you see what type of love. Okay, the first person I dated, that was puppy love. Second person, I got a little bit more serious, and then the love grows as you get with people.
Right.
So being in a 12-year marriage and even dating for as long as we dated, it was huge, and it was true love.
Right.
I loved you, but it just got to a point in that relationship to where she was getting unhappy, and it
was
just
she abusive? Okay, she got unhappy. What?
No verbal abuse, no physical abuse.
Thank God.
I think we got loud one time in front of my daughter, but this is when she was a baby. She probably was.
Don't even remember me.
So when we got loud, on the other hand, and it wasn't a bad one. It was like and we saw my daughter. She grabbed me.
Right.
And we could see that she was afraid. That was why. I don't know her reason for saying what she said, but when I felt the tightness of my daughter grabbing me and the fear that I felt in her,
disarmed you.
We can't do that. Never again. Not in front of her, and not do it to ourselves.
Right.
So I think because we did that to ourselves,
right,
when we needed to talk to each other, we didn't do it because we made that promise when my daughter was young. I held a lot of stuff inside.
But that's okay. So that's, man. Look, what you just described here. A lot of couples need to do that because I read a book, right, marriage book. I think Saving Your Marriage Before It Starts. It's called Symbis or something along the lines. And in the book, one of the 40-year clinical psychologist, I think, I forgot his name. He said, one of the, if not the most important factor, right, of what determines if a marriage stays together or fell apart was conflict resolution.
Yes.
It wasn't love. It wasn't how good sex was. It wasn't how much money you had. It wasn't all these things that people say it is.
Yes.
How well, right, are you able to resolve conflict?
Yes.
And a lot of times, either or both parties are too immature to resolve simple conflict.
Simple.
I like Crest, you like Colgate. We can't even come to an agreement on what toothpaste we're going to use. That's crazy.
Because that's what I like. So you just have to.
No compromise. No, you know what I'm saying? So, but you see how you did. You guys discussed that. Never again. But we're going to work towards not doing that again.
Yes.
You know, and that's resolving conflict. I was engaged to a young lady, and we got into our first argument, right? First argument in 5 years of knowing this baby. First argument in 5 years, after fasting and praying and asking God, like, Lord, if this is the lady you need me to be with, then let it be. And if it's not, then it is what it is.
Yes.
And 3 days before the marriage, we got into an argument that prolonged, and there was no way to come into a level, you know, of understanding and saying like, yo, dude, we're supposed to be getting married. Like, what are we doing? You know, and it didn't. She would rather put her father in the mix.
Yes.
To try and fix the relationship. I'm like, well, I'm not married to your dad. And I said, in fact, I'll tell you this: if you are not willing to work this thing out, I would like my ring back. End of story. I'm not going back and forth with middlemen. Because if we were to get married, guess who you're going to bring into the relationship if you have another problem?
Your dad.
He's your dad, not mine. I'm not going to, no, not doing that.
So now you become, like if y'all get a house, you know, you're no longer the man of your house. You call dad and here comes dad.
And that's the biggest problem any woman can do with any man.
Yeah.
You're not even the man of your own home.
Not even the man.
A lot of women, the pastor is the man of their home. Let me stop right now. They can cancel me. Yeah, it is what it is. The person on TV is more man in their home than the man in the home.
Yep.
It's crazy. We get on the internet and when did we start taking random information off the internet that sounds good and taking that and plugging it in our relationship and expecting it to work? And then when it doesn't work, oh well, he's a narcissist. Or whatever buzzword that's circulating to the internet right now. Look, big man, when I came to America, fam, I don't understand how these men do their things like that. I swear, I be like, yo, none of this stuff makes sense.
None of it makes sense.
But we doing it like it makes sense. Oh, what he's saying, it makes sense. I don't care if it makes all the sense in the world. That doesn't mean it makes sense in this relationship. Dude, it's like I'm giving you a recipe for lentils. Yeah. And you're making Johnny cakes, and then you're coming here trying to plug in lentils recipe. And I'm not even making lentils.
But a lot of women forget. A lot of women forget how you create that home. Because a lot of people, they date before they actually get into a relationship, right. Get a house, get married, and this and this and that. And a lot of people forget that, okay, it was one man that helped you create this dream and this foundation that you have.
Right.
So why, when you get almost to the finish line, you have all these different voices and all these different opinions coming in the home? So the man that brought you from start to almost finish, right. You take that man and you destroy him by diminishing his name and everything y'all learned within that relationship. Right. And now you have, like you say, the pastor, your dad, your uncle,
your girlfriend, the lady at the job, the one who want to sleep with your husband.
Exactly. So you take.
It's crazy.
See now, women and men, if they would sit down and say, okay, I've known you for 12 years. Out of the 12 years, we're about to get married. if they go back and they do a timetables of how many hours you worked within that 12-year relationship to get this house, to get this ring that I just put on your hand.
Crazy.